CIMB fam, welcome back to the channel. My sister is here again to guess. It's been a long time, but before we start with the vlog, please make sure to subscribe and click on the bell button so you're always notified whenever I have new videos like this. So on my IG stories, when I was doing a Q&A, I did mention some people were asking me like, how do I handle my finances? Like, what do I do with my money? Do I invest and all that stuff? And then I was super duper transparent and I said, honestly, I am not so good with this. It's really my sister who pushes me to do all of this. So I asked if you guys wanted to do a Q&A with her and, so that she could share all her knowledge about like finance, money, and all that stuff. And you guys had like a overwhelming yes as your answer. So here she is. I have bribed her. Actually, walang bribe. Forced. I have forced her to come here to the vlog to help answer all our finance-related questions. Like, kumbaga, money talks. So I've collected questions from you guys and you've sent in so much. I'm so surprised. My sister will try her bestest to answer them in the most relatable way so that it's not so confusing for us non-finance majors. My sister is a certified public accountant and also she's been a banker. She's been a banker for so long already. So yan, yung background niya. Okay, so we're just gonna do like a kwentuhan portion. My sister is kind of camera shy, so para lang makatulong. And another thing pala, in case you're wondering, she is my older sister. Even though she doesn't look like it. Nag-ayos kami ngayon, nilagyan ko siya ng makeup para lang hindi masyado mukhang teenager. And she'll sound legit. She'll look legit because for sure she'll sound legit. So she is actually already 35. And single, if you guys know anyone. Okay, Sisms. Question number 1. In general, how to manage financials wisely?
I think first is you review what your goals are, what your expenses are. Set realistic goals. Evaluate like your habits also, like what are your weaknesses, and then start separating them.
So it's more of like an introspection.
Yeah. Don't compare yourself with others first. What works for you cannot work for this person naman talaga. Pwede mo siyang i-pattern like to serve as your guide. But nothing is like, this is the only way. There are different ways naman to do it.
Is buying a house always a good investment versus rent?
It depends, again. If you think about it kasi, buying a house is an investment, but it's not a liquid investment. If like, for example, all of a sudden you need emergency money, you cannot sell your house right away. And then sometimes if you want to sell your house right away because you need the money, palugay mo siya to sell. So it depends where you are in the stage of your life, right?
Like, and how you are financially.
But kunyari naman, you have so much excess, then you're paying so much sa rent ng house mo na it's equivalent to, for example, an amortization of a home loan. Why not just buy a house na rin lang?
Yeah. Why do a lot of people ignore buying an insurance? And what do we get when we invest on it?
I think in our parents' generation, it's something that they don't believe in. When I first got my job, that's the first thing that I did. That's one of the arguments of Papa and I. Papa didn't want me to buy. But I think it's mainly because of financial literacy na rin here in the Philippines. And people just think na if you get an insurance, you only benefit if you die. But like, there's a lot of purpose naman for insurance. You can use it for your loan. Parang you're preparing your family. If like, for example, you die, you have to pay for estate taxes. They cannot touch your assets until you pay for the tax. So pwede kang kumuha ng insurance to cover for that tax portion. Or pwede rin naman na kunyari, there's a life insurance that your family has like a cancer gene or whatsoever. Like when you're not yet diagnosed, you get na para in case you get diagnosed, the insurance would pay for your hospital.
For people who are completely clueless about insurances, is there any type of insurance ba kasi that you can actually benefit even if nothing happens to you?
There are a lot of type of insurance. Like there's like traditional, there's like the variable life insurance like that has an investment component. And then there are some insurance plans that it's more of like an investment kasi there are like quarterly payouts, like parang dividends. And then some like, kunyari, nakita mo itong anak mo, magastos to.
Bakit ba sa akin nakatingin?
Na-hurt ka.
Hindi naman, I was just
Yeah, okay. You can put money in like insurance and then after XXX years, sila ka makukuha yung like they're this age na.
That's the one that our parents got for us.
Yeah. It's not malaki ha. You might think it's malaki.
What are your tips on saving money? Like, how many percent should I put to, like, let's say, needs, savings, investments, etc.?
When you look kasi online, there's always like a 50-30, ganyan, 20-10. For me, it really depends on where you are right now. I think the first thing is like, look at your salary and then you look at your expenses. If you feel like, lagi kulang yung money ko na I'm not able to save, parang for me, it's more of the earlier you start, the better you get to instill that habit of saving.
It's not about the amount.
It's not about the amount. It's also about training yourself in a way if you want to save and invest. Important then like the people you surround yourself with if they're supportive with your goals. Minsan sa friends me, wag ka na mag-save, let's go here na. Nadadala ka sa peer pressure or like, hindi ka, meron ganyan, meron ganyan, blah, blah. I think like now that we're in a pandemic, it's best to prioritize first to save an emergency fund. Saving and investing is like two different things kasi. When you save, it's more of you're keeping your money as good as cash.
Yeah, and that you're thinking that you will have to spend it on something.
And then when you're investing, it's more of for a long-term goal na you want to grow it. Saving is usually parang you put money in the bank. If you need something, automatically accessible siya. So right now, if like wala kang anything, start saving first for the emergency fund because especially at this time where you don't know what would happen next. So what I always tell younger kids or like my staff or whatever is always save for a rainy day. Anticipate a rainy day because it's not all the time naman na we have money coming in, everything is okay. Pwede naman while you're saving, you're starting to learn how to invest na. You're reading up na, you're researching, you're practicing.
It's so hard to give you like an exact percentage because it will also depend on your
goals.
On your status in life, like your priorities. So it's so hard. Again, it's about, looking into yourself and checking your comfort level. But I guess the main takeaway from this is that what you're saying is that savings is different from investing. If you do start investing, then you have to be willing to lose the money. What bank should you consider when you decide to finally open an account? This is something that I'm really so shocked about because our parents are like super duper like traditionally Chinese. So they really like from bata pa lang, they open a bank account for us. So I didn't know that people would actually like, I don't know how to open a bank account.
No, there's a lot of unbanked in the Philippines. First and foremost, important, make sure they are registered with PSP. So para you know their digits.
And that's Googleable.
Yes. For me naman, generally, go for like the established ones. Usually kasi when it's small, like the rural banks and stuff like that, medyo hindi mo sure how
they will be in the future.
Yeah, how
stable
they are. All banks that are registered, they are with PDIC. So up to 500,000 of your deposit is insured in case something happened, which sana wag naman. And then next would be, I think, how accessible the bank is, the reputation, after sales, and then now with the pandemic, how convenient it is, like their online banking, para you don't keep on going out. Depends on what needs you have it. But I think generally, most banks are
really adapted.
Yeah, really adapted. More or less, they're the same. So parang ang habol mo na lang would be the customer service na they can give you.
And the convenience.
The convenience. But pwede naman na parang this bank for you is convenient and okay customer service. But to me, it's not. It's because magkaibang branch tayo.
Yeah.
Yung mga ganon.
And if you have family members, let's say, if they have an existing relationship with this bank, then you would prefer that.
Parang kasi at least
mas mabilis
ka usap. Parang experience-wise.
Correct. Savings advice to a fresh grad.
I think parang people na fresh grad, you get your first sweldo, you get too excited to spend your money na parang, I have my own money. Yeah. First would be, start na talaga to save kasi like I said, it's more of a habit that you're training yourself. So for me, when I started working, automatic habit ko, when my ATM gets credited my sweldo, I remove it out agad. I only keep the allowance I'm giving myself until the next payday.
Kasama na doon yung fund allowance mo.
Oo, nandun na lahat. And then, once I remove it out, I don't touch it na.
Of course, also if you're a fresh grad, usually you also have like starting salary lang rin yun, so it's not as high, but it doesn't mean that you don't get to save. Again, what my sister kept stressing to me last night when we were like talking about all these like different topics, it's not about the amount you save,
it's the habit that you instill yourself.
And then her follow-up question is where to invest for beginners?
For me, depends really on your risk appetite din. But like yun nga, di ba, you'd see na parang everybody doing crypto or like stocks and stuff like that. Don't follow the hype. Parang do do you. I think pinaka-first talaga is read up muna.
On the different kinds of
investments. Yeah, what you feel yung pinaka-fit sa'yo, personality-wise. Stocks trading kasi, you need a lot of time to study the market and understand the market. And you have to be not emotional. It's a roller coaster talaga. What I used to say nga, stocks is parang gambling. In a way, you're gambling kasi you really don't know when.
If you would generalize the young community, like what do you think would work best for them? Which type of investment do you think?
For me personally, what I started with was insurance talaga. Because like when the younger you are, syempre you don't have the sakit-sakit and all that. Your amortization, monthly amortization is cheaper. And then that time, kasi I find it investing so intimidating.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's probably what I want.
And then parang pwede rin naman here if you do a side hustle. It's also sort of a way of investment.
Yeah, correct. How do you manage finances when you only earn minimum wage?
Syempre, it would be hard, diba? But like, look at your expenses. Why would you be like a paycheck to paycheck? Why would it be parang if ever kulang or whatever?
Ina-audit mo sarili.
Audit mo muna sarili mo. Tingnan mo kung ano yung
where can you still save?
Where can you save? Saan napupunta yung money mo? Kasi parang like, if you look at it, here in the Philippines, ang insurance or retirement plan usually ng mga parents is like their kids. Parang sometimes the rest of the family just depends on you.
Yeah.
It's not naman being selfish or whatever. You also have to set a budget. This is the money lang that I'm sending my family for health. Because you have to think din naman, you have to look at your future also. I think it would be really hard to break that cycle na parang yung padala-padala sa family. But it's up to you eh. If sanayin mo sila.
Yeah, I get it. So I guess if you want to like
learn how to save money finances, after your work ba with your minimum wage na job, you still have time to do a side hustle. Try to look for another channel to earn money. Pero hindi naman yung tipong like wala ka ng social life or something.
So I guess if you're already done auditing yourself and you check na parang ito na talaga yung expenses ko, wala na akong mababawas pa dito. These are really all essentials already and it's already like the most cost-effective way already of living. And then you still find that you're not able to manage your finances, you're not able to save the way you want to, then I guess try to check na if you have time for a side hustle. It doesn't have to be big.
But
it's still extra
something na parang your minimum wage. You know, when you save 20 pesos, if i-keep mo yan every week, 20 pesos, how much will it be rin naman 10 years down
pero
the line?
pa rin yun.
Yeah.
When is it the best time to get a second life insurance?
Before, when I was told about life insurance and stuff like that, what they explained was the best way to add is every time you hit a certain milestone in your life, you keep on topping up. Because like now, you're as a single person, wala ka na mag-isipin na anak pag namatay ka or something na kailangan mo support and stuff like that. But are those the goals that you see yourself having, like having your own family, and so you wanna top up your insurance?
Your every month.
Yes, and also naman as you grow old, your standard of living also sometimes grows, diba? So parang kailangan mo evaluate yung before ko ba na plan would cover that pa.
Over budget for expenses, do you splurge it or return as part of savings?
Depends
on your happiness.
For me, my own practice is, like I have a loan and then my budget is sobra now. If I can invest it elsewhere that would earn more than the interest rate of my utang, I would invest it.
How about for a normal person who's not investing? Ano lang siya? Fun lang siya. So it's either I put it in the bank or I spend it for my happiness.
Pwede ka naman mag-splurge sometimes. But like, be realistic or baka over lang yung money mo now sa expenses mo because you got a big bonus today. And then sa next cut-off, we have like a big something expense.
That's also what I was thinking na. And I have the foresight.
Yeah.
Okay, feeling ko naman walang mangyayari in like the coming months. So yeah, maybe I can splurge a little. But I think for me personally, if this was to happen to me, I would still save some of it and then splurge some of it. I wouldn't like splurge all of it. What is the best budgeting technique for students po?
Treat your allowance as like your sweldo na. So you split it na also.
Huwag kang labas ng labas every day.
Huwag kang labas ng labas every day.
Huwag man libre ng friends.
Oh, libre joke. No, like, make baon from bahay. Go to school. Before kasi when we were in school pa, we only get allowance on the days na may pasok. So if we're given like allowance for the week and then biglang nag-declare walang pasok, binabawi yun eh.
Binabawi ba?
Yeah.
Sa akin yata hindi.
Yung sa'yo mas linyat na, yung time ko pa, binabawi pa. So, there's a term in college na parang 3 times a week lang yung pasok ko. So, 3 days lang ako may 3 days lang ako may allowance. So, what I did was, I don't go to school until I eat at home na. Then, I would complain it's unfair. Kasi nga daw, ba't pa binibigyan ng allowance? I don't spend na at school kasi nga, may
Pangpagkain kasi
yung
na dapat yung allowance.
Or mga photocopy and stuff like that.
Mga
Para paan na?
spoiled brats. What's the best investment option now amidst the pandemic?
Your health.
Is well.
But really, right now, best investment is yourself. Really. Improve yourself. Be healthy.
How to build a credit score?
Here siguro, first would be the easiest to get na credit would be your credit card. Make sure when you get the credit card, you pay it off every month. Then that's how makikita like ng creditors na you're a good debtor. Like you pay on time, you don't default. Pero hindi siya as sophisticated like sa States. Like we have friends in the film city say na they can't buy this because they don't have a credit score. Or sometimes na even if they have the cash, why are you buying it? But credit, it's because I want to improve my credit score.
You're not
Parang not wala pang ganun.
How do you get over the fear or anxiety that comes with your first investment in financial instruments?
First, siguro, I think you don't really get over that fear. Kasi nga, pera mo yun, pinaghirapan mo yun. But the first thing that I was told na when I was going into stocks was the amount that you put in is the amount na parang you're willing to lose. Like parang kung mawala siya, makakabayad ka pa rin ng kuryente. It's an excess money talaga. And then next would be siguro read up, research first. There are a lot of apps or websites now na would teach you how to start. I think the more that you educate yourself with it, the more that you understand, the more na mawawala yung fear mo.
I agree with anything in life. I think that's how it is. Best investment that has guaranteed returns.
Okay, first, if you read like parang madami, invest here, parang this is the return and stuff like that. If it's too good to be true, most of the time it's shady as app.
Most of the time, it's false.
Yeah. Yung mga get rich quick and stuff like that, remove naman na yan. Usually, yung mga may mga guaranteed returns naman, they are really lower return siya. The more risk you take, the possibility of return is higher. So, parang right now, like mga low to zero risk would be mga government securities because it is backed by the government.
Which is more important for a 30-year-old woman, health or life insurance?
Are you single? Do you plan to get married? To have like kids and stuff like that? Health-wise, like where are you health-wise? Are you masakitin?
So I guess kung masakitin ka, if you have a health issue, then get a health insurance.
Yeah, but like there's like a health insurance na not like yung parang HMO na nag-expire. There's also what you call is critical illness na life insurance. So parang there's a lot of different kinds of in case hindi ka nagkasakit, when you die, it has the benefit of a life insurance.
Ah, wow. It's like a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So yun na lang.
Pag the health insurance that you're saying is yung yearly mo na nire-renew. If like you're working in a corporate naman na as HMO and hindi mo siya nauubos, what's the point of getting a life insurance? It's like, hindi mo rin siya masusulit.
What's the point of getting
a health insurance?
Yeah. So, kuha ka na lang ng life insurance.
Kuha ka na lang.
Like, kung yung answer to sa questions ko a while ago is yes, I am married, I'm not single, I plan to have kids, life insurance.
Yeah, pero you're starting to prepare na. Kasi diba I said, the younger you are, the cheaper pa
your amortization.
So what you can do, kunyari, like now, hindi pa ako married, wala pa akong kids. So paano yung beneficiary ko? You nominate a beneficiary that is revocable.
I'm revocable?
Yeah. I can change you, you know?
Ako yung beneficiary.
And then also kasi, tax-wise, when you die, if it's revocable, it's taxable. If irrevocable,
I'm gonna be taxed by the stuff that you're gonna give me?
My estate will be taxed generally. So if it's not paid, it won't be released to you also.
I have to pay for it pa.
My money na. Your money. That's why nga, yun yung hindi na gets ng mga tao. There's a lot of purposes for getting a life insurance. It's not just like when you die and something like that. So one, kunyari, if you're super, super rich, and then you don't know if like your kids or your dependents
be a lazy bum,
or whatever, diba? And then when you die, like sometimes when you invest, hindi man siya liquid. So pwede nga yung life insurance ang kunin mo. Yung guaranteed payout nun would cover to pay for all the estate taxes nga. Para hindi kailangan ng
bayaran ng loved ones mo na naiwan mo.
Or parang hindi kailangan ng loved ones mo magbenta ng lupa na palugay just to be able to pay for the estate tax.
Got it. What's your formula for your emergency fund? Do you have an emergency fund?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Your emergency fund is the funds that are saved in the bank.
Yes. Some say kasi it should be like 6 months of your monthly salary. But for me, I think the better na formula for that would be look at like in a month how much yung living expenses mo, then multiply them by 6. Kasi parang emergency fund naman is kunyari mo lang kang trabaho, may magkasakit. Parang siyang F-money siya. Like the younger kids now, majority...
Younger kids like me, you mean?
No, younger pa. You're not that young. Like, young, na parang what we see now is they lack the parang medyo work ethic. Kasi medyo what you see in social
si
media.
tita, so may sermon na.
In social media, parang
Who
diba,
goes?
na parang like, you have to find a job that parang like sparks your whatever, like makes you happy, do what makes you happy. But sometimes, you
There
have
are
to put
some
the groundwork din na parang,
Totoo. There are some jobs kasi is a means to an end. Like,
but
or
yeah,
like,
you don't stick with it. Parang some people kasi would say na, this is my asking. But like, why is it that your asking price? Do you deserve
already,
that?
oo.
Hello, magkano lang sweldo namin?
Sandali lang, ang tanong niya, formula for your emergency fund, ng ano ka na, ng nervon
Hindi
ka
yun
na.
na. Parang kunyari, don't quit the job nang wala kang emergency fund. Like for me, that's why it's called F-money also. Kunyari, like toxic nung boss mo, toxic ng work mo. Don't leave just because toxic na. You have to be realistic also.
That's actually one of the things also that was asked to me before in Q&A. And then yung answer ko, parang people were sending me follow-up messages saying, thank you for having such a realistic answer. Kasi parang sabi she's not happy with her job. Sabi ko, are you able to leave your job? Can you afford to leave your job? Because not everyone can leave their job.
Yeah. I was like that din naman when I was younger,
Yeah,
diba?
she
I would
was.
jump also, but like, I'm not the type na I would just leave and like, bahala ang boss ko sa accountability. Parang may ano ka pa rin, don't burn bridges because the world is so small.
So next time na yung job fair talks, okay? So, at balik tayo sa finance. How do you diversify your finances?
You diversify through time. You start at one place muna. Then
Hindi
you're
agad-agad.
Hindi agad-agad. Don't compare nga your progress. I think yun yung problem na parang, this person 1 million na yung na-invest niya. Gusto ko ganyan din. Don't expect na parang in 1 month magagawa mo yun, in 1 year magagawa mo yun. So you have to start somewhere. Then once na
You're comfortable na with
with
this
this
type of investment.
that's when you broaden.
Parang anything in life, you don't, put your eggs naman in so many different baskets right away.
Yeah, para how many jack of all trades master of none.
Exactly. If base salary is just the minimum 18K, what's the best way to manage it?
Akin yan ha.
18K gross.
Mag-negotiate ka ng compensation.
Alam mo, ang hirap sagutin nito because we also don't know your lifestyle. We don't know your needs. Always start with your needs first, di ba?
Yung needs na totoong needs not wants.
Oo.
Like parang Starbucks need yung need.
Oo, hindi porket sumasakit ang ulo mo tuwing umaga pag walang kape, need siya, hindi siya need, want pa rin yan. Because
Kasi
you will still
bumili ka
live.
ng coffee sa grocery, magtimpla ka pa rin.
Coffee pa rin naman yun. So,
Bumili ka na lang ng tumbler.
again, my sister always says na, plot your expenses.
Yes, check your lifestyle. Don't get tempted with what you see from other people kasi you're in a different stage naman ng life all the time. Review it first and then you chop it. Then kunyari, you don't have self-discipline sometimes when you shop. Make it hard for yourself to shop.
Bakit ka gumanon sa akin? I have self-discipline na. I used to have none, but ever since I've come into adulthood, I've had discipline. My God. How to choose a credit card?
First, do you think you'll be responsible?
Oo, bago ko muna mag-choose ng credit card.
Kasi pwede yung maging downfall mo. I have like a young coach before ask me advice nga na if it's wise to for her to use a credit card. I asked her first, why are you scared to use a credit card? So she's scared of the temptation nga na ma-feel niya. Madami siyang
malubog siya
pera,
sa utang.
malubog sa utang. So what I told her then was, every time you use your credit card, think of it as how parang cash. So if you use it for 1,000 pesos, you deposit in your account 1,000 pesos. Para you're sure you're only spending what you have.
Oh.
So until like ma-create mo yung habit na yun. And then
But, paano if you're the type na, that's why you're getting a credit card because you need the cushion since wala ka pang money talaga. So you need that.
what are you spending it for luho?
No, for your need also. You still advise that they should get a credit card just to like,
feeling ko mababaon ka sa utang.
Oo, ito. Parang
Pero
start
malaki yung interest sa credit card. It's a compounding thing. May finance charge and stuff like that.
Yeah, na-delay lang ako magbayad ng isang beses in my life. Napakamahal na nung late penalty fee. Bawal bang hindi lang nakita yung date?
So next is like, siguro set your credit limit. Pwede rin naman kunya if like, in automatic increase yung credit limit, call the credit card company if you say you want it to be lowered down.
Okay, so
To where you're
na-establish na
comfortable
natin
lang.
yan. Oh, so
And then,
how do you choose?
Next would be yung features ng card. Like, how is your life that if ma-travel ka? Pili ka nung card
Maraming
na
travel perks.
but having travel perks. Like for me personally, I don't want to have a lot of credit cards. I just limit it to 2.
Yung nanay namin, she's like, credit
yun.
cards.
And then, learn how to utilize it properly also. Yung credit card gives you 45 days of credit from statement date to when you're supposed to pay. Take note of that. Like, when is your credit card cut off? So, kunyari, 15 yung credit card cut off mo, tapos bumili ka ng something on the 15th, eh, di lalabas din yun sa credit card bill mo.
Right away. So,
Right
hindi mo nakuha yung
away.
benefit na parang, I got
Wala
to
yung
save for a
term.
few
Oo,
days.
parang
Oh,
ganun.
yeah, that's one thing my sister taught me as well. But yeah, my mom used to have so much credit cards. Now it's better, no? Before, ang dami. Parang,
Because I required her to memorize all her statement due dates, cut off.
yeah, but now she's better. How to go away from overspending?
How? For you.
Ito, napaka-insulting. You mean kasi I'm so efficient with this, no? You just close your eyes, close your wallet, close the door, close the laptop, close everything.
No, I think, like for me, when I was younger, what I do was, pinapahirapan ko sarili ko. When I save, I put this in a bank account na if I have to withdraw it, like, sobrang hassle siya. Like, hindi ko siya ginawa accessible for me.
So, ibig sabihin, if you have allowance na, that's a good allowance already. Pero you tend to typically like spend more than the allowance that you've already set aside. Then make it difficult for you to get more than your allowance.
Put hurdles.
Put hurdles
So,
for
parang
yourself.
gets mo,
That's a
yung
good,
parang for you to go through that hurdles, at least sure na sure ka parang gusto mo siya talaga.
Or you just do it my way. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Have an accountability partner who would support your goals. To parang remind you, oh, may goal kang
Ano
ganyan.
na. True. Tips on how to save for yourself when you're also the breadwinner.
Talk to your family. Like, set a budget how much lang yung ibibigay mo to them every month. Na ito lang. I feel like it's also you teaching your family how to fish and just not giving them a fish.
This is also where my sister's advice comes in. Na if you can save 5 pesos, let's say, then save the 5 pesos. If you can save 10 pesos, then save the 10 pesos. So, you know, it's not about how big of an amount you can save. As long as you can save something, then just save it. How do you know if it's a good time to splurge or not?
If I have all my basics covered na.
Ako, when you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
If it's the time of the month.
If it's that time of the month, joke lang. Where to start if I want to invest in the stock market? How do I do it?
Read first. And then make sure that money that you're going to invest na is a money na you're willing to lose. I'm not saying naman na malulose mo siya. Parang like, yung possibility na malose mo siya.
It's
Read
the money
up.
that you lose that won't hurt, I guess.
Yes. Kasi you have to view it as like, when you start doing stocks or when you start investing, at some point, malulugi ka, matatalo ka. Parang it's as if like it's your tuition fee to learn
More
about it.
Best way to invest when you're not into stocks.
If like you don't have like a risk appetite, you do the government securities. This is low risk sila but lower return. And then insurance nga, for me it's a good thing. But you have to research pa rin where you wanna put it. Legit ones.
Ito na, may sermon na naman na darating. Back savings versus insurance.
Right now, when you put your money in the bank, you're not really earning. You're actually losing money because inflation rate is so high and then the interest is so low. But I'm not telling you not to put anything in the bank because like you need to have emergency money. Like I said, savings and investing is two different things. When you do it in insurance, it's a long-term thing na parang you cannot withdraw it basta-basta when you need it. Pwede siyang ma-dilute, meron kang mga cash surrender value, mga ganon.
Where to start investing modest amounts if you're not yet comfortable or learning with stocks?
There's a lot of products coming out. Like Globe has this G-Invest na parang you get to put like 1,000 pesos lang. You get to start to invest.
Yeah, so there's a lot of mga smaller ones.
Yeah.
How to choose a good insurance? I wasn't able to use my educational plan. My parents saved because it closed.
Yeah, there was like that early, parang 1990s to early 2000. So now the regulations are stricter na rin nga, diba? So before you invest in an insurance company, check first if they're with the accredited by Insurance Commission. Next is you look at the reputation of the insurance company. Look at their net assets, look at their financial health. And then next would be you ask around if you have kakilala, family members, or friends who have experience with this insurance. So, you look at the credibility ng company, diba? Then next is a financial advisor mo. So sad, though, there's a lot of people who scams them. Parang you look for, they have a license daw, or better nga, if referral of someone. Kasi with like your financial advisor sa insurance mo, you would want, at the end of the day, is yung after sales customer service. If nag-change yung status mo, if they need something, mabilis pa siya makontak.
My sister, I think, has only bought insurance from people we know.
Yeah. And not just from people we know na we can take trust and like, mabilis kausap.
So, yung mga nagko-cold email sa akin, guys, never ako magre-reply sa mga yan. So, advice for impulsive buyers.
Close your eyes.
Sabi ko nga, close your eyes, close your wallet, close your heart, close your laptop, close
advice
your
for
internet.
Impulsive buyer.
For
Never
me,
go to a mall or browse the internet when you're emotional.
She does that too. I think for me, sleep on it. It works.
Or like you just put it, add it to cart, sleep, and then if it's not there, it's not meant for you.
It's not God's will.
That's what I keep saying.
It's not God's
Or
will.
like, try to compute. Paano mo siya masasulat yung cost per wear? Or like, find the
Grabe naman
reason.
ito, may formula pa.
Yeah, para masulat mo.
Oh my God.
Or like, isipin mo, why are you buying this? Is it because you want it? Is it because it's uso? Do you see yourself using it pa rin like 10 years down the line?
So, sleep on it. Really dig deep. Why are you shopping for this item? And also, don't shop when your emotions are... If you're planning to buy a 400,000 peso Chanel bag, how much money should you at least have?
You don't have utang.
You don't
You
have
have
utang.
emergency fund. You don't have responsibilities while you're buying the 400,000 Chanel to impress someone. Make sure it's like a spare money talaga. You're not going to utang it. You're not going to charge your credit card and then like not be able to pay for it.
Correct. When is the best time to invest in housing?
If you're financially ready, like when you see like kaya mong bayaran yung monthly amortization ng housing na yun, that you'll be able to finish paying that, sayang naman na you pay like halfway and then all of a sudden you have to default and then mag-forgive siya.
How about in terms of like the market? In that
Right now,
that
they're
time?
saying it's a good time to buy kasi nga a lot of people are liquidating assets. But I think it's more of not the time. Look at what kind of housing are you buying. The reputation of the developer, the location,
So
yung
not
reason
just
bakit
also-
sa binibenta.
Yeah. What do you think of digital banks, CIMB, ING, as medium of saving your money?
Go! Take advantage. They're all regulated by BSP and then like they get to afford to give you higher interest rate because they have less overhead. But make sure lang the digital banks that you're using are the ones that are accredited, that have the legit digital license from our regulators.
And both CIMB and ING
has.
House or car, which should a young adult buy first?
A car is not an investment. A car is an expense. The moment you drive it out of the casa, it depreciates already. Maybe a house, but like, afford mo na ba? Look at your finances. Kaya mo ba siya bayaran in the long run? When I did my first investment sa real estate, I was so scared to have like an utang with the bank for like 15 years. And then there's this wise director who told me that one of her regrets in life was not investing earlier.
In life, one of my regrets.
So, and then like when you're lucky enough to have like parents who are financially stable, they can always help bail you out. But don't have that mindset. Look first then sa sarili mo na, kaya mo ba siya? So actually, this is a good way also to stop you from quitting your job every now and then.
If sweldo is barely enough for family expenses, what should I do with a little extra? Save or invest?
Save it first until you have your emergency fund.
And then once you have the emergency fund settled,
That's when you
then
start
that's-
investing.
yeah. Do you recommend investing in mutual funds?
Pwede naman if you don't have the time to do stocks pa on your own, but you also have to research pa rin. Not all mutual funds are created equal. Look at the institution and then look at the fund's track record, like yung return rate nila, how it's performing, ask for like may holding period ba yan, yung mga ganun.
Pros and cons of getting yourself a life insurance plan. Pros.
Money. So, yun nga, like I said, there's a lot of purpose. If like when you're going to get a home loan, they would require you to pay for a mortgage redemption insurance na you pay a certain amount that it covers when you're all of a sudden you die. That insurance would pay for the remaining loan. But like when you never died and you pay for nabayaran mo sa buo, yung MRI na yun is like an expense na tapon na siya. So, if like you have a life insurance with this excess amount, your life insurance mo is also equivalent to the loan. Pwede mo yung i-nominate. So, where you get to save the MRI. It secures your dependents also. Kunyari, you're not the type naman who has a business na when you die, like your spouse would be able to run that business because they have an income back. It's also a way for you to sustain the lifestyle of your family.
Parang setting them up.
Yeah, you're setting them up.
And cons of getting yourself a life insurance plan.
I don't think there's any naman unless you get the shady insurance.
Also, unless you end up not being able to pay for it.
Yeah.
But then again, why would you get an insurance if you don't think you can pay for it? Do you think luxury brands are good investments? Why and why not?
Thank you for that wonderful question.
Ito, Miss Philippines. Do you think luxury brands are good investments?
Not all.
Hermes bags are. They keep going up. And if you sell it, they sell really quick.
If you take good care of it.
Chanel also.
But
Actually, alam mo, Chanel just keeps going up. But if you sell it naman, you can't sell it naman at that price. Actually, I don't know. Mga watches, I think.
Depends the brand and then some mechanism and something like that. But don't think na
But
those
I think
things
she
are
believes
easy
to sell. Exactly. And I think my sister believes more in jewelry than luxury brands.
Kasi hindi mo masasangla ang luxury brand ng alahas pwede.
Do banks accept ba gold to pay? Conshock
pay?
pala.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
Hindi mo na ginagamit pang kulat.
is opening a lot of different bank accounts for savings practical? You told me last night na yes, so you think it's nice to have like different bank accounts for different purposes?
If you don't have like the discipline na, parang if like isang bank account pala pag nakita mo malaki, I have a lot of money and then nakalimutan mo may kanya-kanya siyang purpose. So like for me personally, I have different bank accounts for different purposes. Like fund money,
This is for
my
my
allowance,
loans,
this is for my loan, this is for my retirement.
this is for my sister. Walang ganong bank account. If on a semi-tight budget and in a small business, invest more in the business to expand or buy stocks.
If you feel the business is viable,
Feel
that's
very
potential,
strongly.
you invest in the business.
Where to invest in bonds?
There are like government bonds, corporate bonds. You look at the ratings. Banks offers yung mga bonds na in-issue ng government and ng mga private institutions. But they're not all created equal na. So like the one issued by government are more or less zero to low risk. And then next would be different corporate bonds may different credit rating. Like kunyari, a San Miguel is not the same as company XYZ sa tabi ng kalsada.
Advice on getting insurance for people who doesn't have a high-paying job.
You don't need a high-paying job to get an insurance. So that's why you have to find a financial advisor and be able to talk to them like where you are right now and what your goals are. Insurance premiums are very flexible naman. Like some pwede nga like 2,000 pesos a month. And then what's important naman is you review that regularly.
Because you can top up.
You can top up and then you can get different plans eventually, like add more. Don't always think na you have to get a big amount agad. You have to start somewhere and then it would grow big.
Is real estate investment still worth it?
It depends also sa purpose mo in life. Like, if you feel yourself like being a nomad, why would you do real estate? It would tie you up. But it's also a good investment if like you wanted to be a passive income. But
Not all real estate investments are good.
yeah.
You have to think about the developer, the location, how in demand it is.
Like when if like you're getting a real estate for investment, so you want to get rental money. So you have to analyze in this area, families ba or
Student
corporate
lang ba?
student or corporate. So that would also affect the size of the unit that you'll get. Like that.
Any tips for those who are experiencing quarter-life crisis and struggles to be financially stable?
Why are you experiencing quarter life crisis. I think take a break, like not quit your job, like take a day off, breathe, like evaluate why are you having a financial struggle? Is it because ba
Of you?
of you, parang like with how you spend, or is it because like something happens sa family na wasn't expected?
Or is it because you're underpaid? So then that's how you'll know like what the next step is. Because if it's like if you're underpaid, then it means maybe you should start shopping around while not quitting your job, of course. Or you should start negotiating, like renegotiating.
Parang depende also, you look like you're underpaid, why your performance is good naman. Or parang you can ask, is there something that I can improve on?
Before getting married, is it a good idea to have a joint account or separate?
I think you have to have both.
Yeah, that was the plan, but it was just always separate. But yeah, that's the plan. Financial advice for people in their 20s. Start saving already.
Surround yourself with good people. If you want to start investing, don't be afraid to ask help from other people. Seek a mentor. Research online. Before you go into stocks, familiarize yourself with the companies that you're interested with.
Where to start in savings and what to invest when you're not so young anymore.
Usually kasi the older you are, your risk appetite, especially if you don't have like a secure retirement plan na, mas moderate or conservative na yung risk appetite mo because pero mas maikli na yung time from the time na you save to kailan mo siya kailangan. So it's more of medyo mas conservative ka na dapat na parang ayaw mong masunog.
So what kind of investments would you like recommend?
Yung nga, mga government securities. Try to set up mga passive income channels. Para even if you're old, may pumapasok pa rin somehow, hindi lang lahat labas.
How to convince siblings to get insurance plan?
How did I convince my siblings? How?
Patience.
Patience is a virtue.
And then you also involved my husband. And then it was a lot of things. Honestly, she just kept nagging me about it and then just
It's
came
4
home
years,
with,
guys. 4
came
years
home with
of different
papers,
insurance
put
plans.
the pen in front of me. Ganong level. In your opinion, when is it a good time to treat yourself?
Anytime. If everything naman is sorted,
Yeah.
every now and then you treat yourself. Huwag naman every day or every week, ha?
I'm 17. Is it possible for me to invest as early as now?
Yes, it's never too early.
Do you recommend to buy VUL insurance or just the traditional?
It depends really with your needs and your goals in life. If you invest kasi in VUL, it's more expensive than traditional insurance. But then again, if you do use traditional insurance lang, yung potential for that money to grow is like almost zero. Parang mababa lang siya. So it depends on the purpose of the insurance and what you have right now.
Is it okay to borrow from your savings?
Why are you borrowing from your savings? Is it because to further like improve yourself, or is it like just a luho?
If it's to further improve, if it's
Pwede
to,
naman, but make sure
may papasok pa rin. Alam mo may
parang,
papasok.
oo, make sure na you commit to yourself na parang after gantong month, ibabalik ko siya. Kasi if not, parang masasanay ka ang ginalaw ko siya.
Oo,
Galawin
true.
ko lang siya ng gagalawin.
Thoughts on putting most of your savings in the bank?
It's pointless. I love my job. Don't kick me out. Kasi nga wala masyadong interest rates now. But like, the bank has different products naman. So you ask for other investment vehicles. But don't invest into something nga that you don't understand. If you don't understand, huwag kang mahiya magtanong. Magtanong ka na magtanong.
Unless you have a sister like her who will just fix it for you. And that you really, really trust and she won't run away with your money. Because some family runs away with your money. What is something you wish you knew when you were young before you started investing?
More than 10 years ago ata, one day, my friends and I decided that we wanted to start investing in stocks. Kanya-kanyang account, but we all did it together para sabay-sabay kayo, malungkot at masaya. So, ganun. What I learned, you cannot be emotional. When you're investing, you have to detach the emotions. Kasi if not, lalugi lang, pumaba lang siya, biglang mag-liquidate ka. Parang know your goals why you're investing in this. Is it for long term or is it for short term? Especially with stocks, never be greedy. Kunyari, it's not a long-term investment na pang forever. Like, kunyari, short term lang siya. If like yung stocks mo umakyat na ang goal mo is 10%. If yun talaga yung goal mo, benta mo na. Huwag mo sabihin, akyat pa siya. Be happy na. Kasi pwedeng today, umakyat siya 10. Bukas, baba siya 15. So, don't be greedy.
What to do first? Save, invest, or pay off debt?
Pay off debt.
Or do it all together?
And then, the extra that you have, save it.
Is a bank loan a good option in investing or buying a property?
So, ganito. I think if you have
Depends on the rate.
depends on the rate, and then if you have the money naman and then wala kang pag-iinvestan ng money that would earn more than the interest rate dun sa bank loan na binibigay sa'yo, use the money to pay for it na. But if you have the money and then you can invest it elsewhere that could like earn you 10% and then your loan is just like 5%, you get the loan.
Aside from banks that only give 0.5 to 4% interest, where else can I put my emergency fund?
Your emergency fund kasi, kaya nga siya emergency fund, you want it to be good as cash eh. So generally, you put it somewhere na
Easy
to access na. You really put it in a bank. 4% is not bad.
Okay, so to close, we've now come to the end of it. Ang dami niyo pang questions, but unfortunately, we have to cut it. What are your words of wisdom to us youngsters out there? To us youngsters. What is your closing remark? As the
Investing
tita.
and saving is not an amount. It's more of a habit. If like someone else saved gazillion dollars na and you're starting now, don't lose hope.
Don't be discouraged.
Don't be discouraged. Progress is progress. Take it a day at a time. The sooner that you start, no matter how small, that's a start. That's a stepping stone.
Yes. So I guess that's also the perfect advice for those of you who are asking me na, what if I only get this much from my salary? Or like, I'm the breadwinner, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Merong some days that you get to save, then save that amount. And you know, it's already starting a savings fund for yourself. If you want to save it also for your family, you're already starting somewhere. So I guess it's really like you just have to start somewhere, and it doesn't have to always be a big bang.
And there will always be ups and downs with savings and stuff like that and investing. Don't get discouraged. Use it as something na you'll learn from it.
Correct. Much like anything in life. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching our vlog. I hope that you guys learned something from it. If you guys have any more questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. If there's anything that sparks my sister's interest, maybe she will answer you. She does lurk in my vlog a lot of times.
The bashers.
The bashers, she likes to fight them. But anyway, thank you so much again. See you guys on my next vlog. Bye, Cam Fam. Talent fee. Talent fee. Ng talent fee savings.